Hello everyone, it's me and I'll be covering types of digital media. So I'm going to explain different types of digital media such as image, text, video and music. So they are the four main ones, but there are more I guess, but these are the ones I'm going to cover for now and hopefully I might have covered most of the basis, the main parts of this video. And I'll give some examples for each one and what they're used for and what they can really do. The purpose, like the purpose of using them. So, an image is basically a picture with many pixels that build up to make a picture, basically. So, it's a picture that is still and doesn't move, but there is one that is an animated one, GIF, but it's more of a codex, which I might make another video about codex in the future. If you know about, if you've done photography, you'll know that the amount of pixels, the more pixels you have, the more clearer the image is. It's like, I think there's one called vector and there's another one called bitmap, if I can recall. But I might be totally wrong here. If you know about this, more about this vector and bitmap, please put in the comments. So they could be drawn or searched for on the internet and they could be formed into photographs. So HD is but it's like many pixels. I think it's 2400 pixels, if I can remember. It's like much better than the 1080. Because 1080 is basically the most common one. I think it's like is that standard HD, and there's HD which is like the very clear professional. Is that 4K, which is pretty very high quality in terms of how the image looks. So the main purpose of having images is that they can give extra information about something. So it can persuade someone to go and do something like basically there's a film poster and this film poster wants you to go and see this film. Maybe because you like that genre of film or you like the way the poster looks, the design, and you really want to go and see this film. So that has to attract your attention. It has to stand out, maybe the colors of that image or that how big the size can be have an impact on maybe the characters much bigger than most of the others. And it persuades people to go and see the film. But there's one incident that happened where one character's film image was too small because they wanted. I know it's very negative. I don't want to talk much about that. I think it was a racially motivated thing because in China, his image was quite small, and all the white characters in his film was very big. It's not very nice story to it. It's the first Star Wars film. John Boyega, if I could recall. His image was very small, and they resized it to make his character because his character is one of the most important ones in the film. Even though I think in China they're quite racist, I would say, but we're not going to get into that now. So there's one like let's say if you want to see this film, let's say you want to see the Avengers film. It's already been out, but I'm just saying. Or you want to buy a DVD like of that film, the Avengers. You want to go and see it. Then that image will have to draw you in, basically. It's like any other films that you like to see. I'm just giving an example. It's just So a text is a kind of image that is usually written. So text is, people don't see text as a creative form, but I do consider it. But it is a creative form if you're using it as a way of creativity, like writing a novel or a book about a story of something that you've made up in your head and you want to get it down on a piece of paper. That's creating something. And creative writing is a form, and poetry, writing lyrics, song lyrics, is like a form of art as well. Anything that's made for a creative purpose is art, is an art form basically. So it is shown by its number, letters and numbers, instead of its physical content. So the words can actually come in, so they can come in different fonts and sizes, maybe colors as well, because sometimes you could change the color of the font to how you want it. Like basically, that word is pink and the rest of the words are black. And the main purpose for the text is to make people read and try to understand it. So the text allows the reader to feel some sort of emotion and is supposed to make the reader feel entertained. Maybe in a maybe in a, could be like laughter, or they have a tearjerk moment or something like that. So having different fonts and boldness in text makes it more interesting instead of being all one dimensional, or fonts that have, should be, instead of it being the same font size and style basically. So it is in a book form or a magazine or newspaper format. So basically fonts are just there to, for it to stand out. There's a thing that I did. I went to this long time ago, I went to this summer program during the holidays and we did some calligraphy. If you know about what calligraphy is, it's basically like an art, a style, how to create fonts by drawing it out. It's like a drawing of a, it's a bit like writing in a different way, basically, different style. And I was trying, it was very difficult for me because I tried to write in like a more old fashioned style, which is not easy for someone like me because I tend to write, I do write joined up, but I tend to write in a more modern way. I just mixed up the traditional and the modern. It was pretty hard. And you can do, and bold text is something that I have struggled with to do. But nowadays, there's lots of programs that helps you how to create your own text, and you use Word art as well on Word and PowerPoint and wherever you, on Microsoft. I think Google Drive does it too. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe you should tell me more about that. I have tried to use Google Drive once or twice, but I'm not really familiar with it. So it's kind of similar, but I'm not actually familiar with it. So you can tell me more about that if you want in the comments. So a video is a moving image, which is an image that can be viewed. So basically, it's like there's different lengths of time and frames for different parts of the video, so it could be long or short. And there are different sorts of videos, such as films and music. So back to the frames part. Basically, the most most filmmakers use, so the common use the common, so 24 frames equals 1 second basically. So each frame consists of each image of a moving person moving. It's more like a movement type image, like someone trying to move their arm or leg really slowly, but you're capturing it as a frame, even though it doesn't really show. In the olden times, they used to edit by cutting the image through with a scissors. And it's quite interesting to say the least, because we now use digital cameras instead of film, which is like these roll up things, camera thing. It's like the old version of the camera filming things. So the European standard is 25, which most filmmakers in Europe and in the UK use. I think in America apparently it's 30, because my teacher told us about it before. So in America, they 25 is similar to 24. 24 and 25 are kind of the same basically in terms of the quality of the image and the video. 30 apparently is more clearer, and that's why the quality is so good, and some of the TV and film series are more TV and web series on Netflix and Amazon Prime are that good on, because most of them are produced by American productions. Because that's why they're that good, because they have 30 frames per second. I think the file's more bigger if it's 30 frames per second than if it is 24 to 25. Because apparently 30 it can take forever. That's the only problem. And apparently it can muck up with your computer. You can change it on Premiere Pro, but I would say don't do that. It might muck it up, or it can cause it. I know I might be wrong here, but it might ruin it or something. 'Cause I know someone who did that with their own film, and it messed everything up for them, which wasn't a great experience for him, because he's wondering whether he should use 30 frames per second, which is not a great idea. But you can, but it's up to you, really. So the main purpose of having videos is that they are mainly there for entertainment purposes. So people generally love watching videos, and makes them feel different emotions just by watching a film, or if they're watching a TV program or an episode of a TV program. It's really impactful. And music videos are also videos, and lyric videos too, because they do move around too. It's every lyric you have to type everything in the edit, like for every frame counts basically in a video. So music is a sort of sound with different instruments and voices that are mixed together, so they could be. So there's usually someone's singing voice, or it could be instrumental if there isn't a singing voice. So you can hear on the radio, and you can see in the music that the singer is performing their song at a concert, or they could be filming it in the studio. Music is something that I don't really know much about, to be fair, but I know you can make your own music, like on SoundCloud. You can make your own music, and there's streaming services for music for such as Spotify and Amazon Prime Music, but I don't really use streaming music. And YouTube has its own one as well, their own one. I think they're trying to compete with their rivals. And there's an old one called Napster, which I know only certain people will know about that. I think a millennial would have known about that. And I think it was owned by Facebook, if I can recall. Because I remember I was watching The Social Network in the cinema. At first, I didn't really like the film because it was kind of slow. I think it was slow to the action. Basically, the action was kind of slow, but the dialogues is the only is the main thing that why the film was so good and why the film was successful, got positive reviews by film critics. But I think I watched a film called The Social Network. I think Facebook did own Napster. I think they partnered with each other to create this famous global conglomerate, multinational business or something. I don't think people use Napster anymore, but I think it was owned by Facebook. If you know more about that, please put it in the comments. So the purpose of having music is to listen to the sounds and to the sounds that have been played. So you can, in editing, there is software you use that Audacity, which is like it's it's free and it's very cheap. You don't need to pay for anything for it. I think it's pre-installed to Windows, but I have used it in the past. And I use my phone. You can use your phone because your phone has its own pre-installed voice recorder. You can do it on your phone as well because it's quite affordable. You don't have to go to a studio to get that kind of quality. As long as your sound is good on your phone, then you can. We could download apps for it, but you can use your phone because it's there. So it can allow. So that's what I'm going to say for that part. So it allows people to express themselves in a certain way, depending on how they're actually feeling, whether they're sad or happy. So songs can impact people's mood. Like if it's an uplifting song, it could be positive. It's a very positive one, I would say. And the negative one is more like very slow and very, you know, tempo is not very fast, basically. So mainly, it is to do with their own experiences. So most singers write about their experience, and that's something I'm not really familiar with. I'm not an expert on music, unless I know a little bit about it, but it's not something I'm really an expert on. So music comes in different forms. For example, it can come in a CD, or it could come in a video, or it's installed in hardware devices, which you can do. Because I know someone who used to, this girl in my school, in my class, she collected in her USB her favourite songs that she really liked and I think she used YouTube Converter to convert the songs from a video to an MP4. You can use a YouTube Converter to convert it to a codecs. So it can be downloaded from the internet, like I said. You can use YouTube Converter. So you basically copy the link, video link, and you post, and she downloads through that, basically. But it can have trouble because of the pop-ups can be very irritating. I've done it in the past. But if you're editing a film and you want to use music, or you want to, it's best if you collaborate on someone that knows about how to create a music score because they can help you with that. If you like to create your own music score with, then you have to partner up with that person that knows how to create their own beats and that. Or if you know someone that raps or sings, I know a girl on my university course is a rapper. She has their own. I could contact her if I want to use some of her songs for my films. It's just an example I'm giving you. But I know I am giving a genuine example this time. So, yeah. And you make sure you look for non copyrighted music. But I'll do more about that in another time, about music licensing and things. So because you need to be careful in what music you're borrowing from, the websites you're using, and the artist. And you need to credit the artist when you're using their music. You can use it, but you need to credit them when in your film credits. So I hope you enjoyed this video. So I hope you liked this video. So please share, subscribe, and like this channel if you learned anything new. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.